Can Aquaman save the DCEU? Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. And I went to go see Aquaman at an early Amazon Prime screening, and if that can tell you how I feel, I don't know what else can. But this movie, I was kind of excited for it. After seeing that first trailer that came out of Comic-Con earlier this year, I was like, okay, I can get this. I can dig this. This is really cool. I really liked Aquaman for the most part, for some of it in Justice League, even though I wasn't a huge fan of that movie. I was there for Wonder Woman. But after seeing, well, I actually did like the really long, like 5-minute trailer. I thought it was kind of cool. It showed some really interesting sequences. But then the most recent trailer that they released, everyone was like super excited for it, and I got kind of bored with it. I guess that's really what I'm trying to say there. So really, before we get into my full thoughts on this, I just want to say, like I do at the beginning of every comic book superhero movie review that I do, trailer reaction that I do, I don't know anything about comic books. I am just here for a pure entertainment value. I don't know any of the backstory. I just know what I've seen on screen and what other people tell me. So forgive me if I don't know something that is super vital. It's because they didn't put it in a movie somewhere. I didn't do any backstory research. Okay, just getting that out of the way now. So getting into my thoughts on Aquaman, and I know I am probably in the minority on my thoughts because all the people I've talked to have been surprised when I told them this. So without going into too many spoilers, I was not a fan. I went into this really excited. I like Jason Momoa, I like him a lot, and I've heard James Wan is a great director. I've heard that he has one of the best, actually the best, Fast and the Furious movie in the series. So I was like, you know what? I'm excited to see this. Let's just do it. And to James Wan's credit, he made a great movie technically. It is a very technically sound movie. The cinematography is really great. The underwater sequences are so beautiful. Atlantis looks amazing. And we got to see Atlantis in one of the trailers. I think it was, we got the first look at it in the full, like the 5-minute trailer that they showed at Comic-Con that they didn't release for a couple months later. And all of the fight scenes were amazing. However, those fight scenes, there were so many of them. I think there were like 5 or 6 of them. There were so many. It was just a lot of fighting, and they looked great, but they did get a little bit disorienting at times because it was a lot of CG since a lot of the fights were underwater. The best fight scene is one that we see in that 5-minute long trailer from Comic-Con where you see Mera running across rooftops, you see Aquaman running across rooftops and fighting Black Manta. And that is really cool. There are some really great cinematography sequences in that just were amazing, and I absolutely love that fight just because it was something a little bit different than what we have seen in the movie so far, because about 90% of the fights do take place underwater and are very CG and disorienting, like I said. Those are the merits of this movie. There's a lot of things that I have issue with this. The acting, namely, is very awkward and stiff to me, I feel like. I don't know if that is, well, at least the relationship between Aquaman and Mera is very weird and awkward to me. When they first are introduced to each other, when they first meet, it was kind of weird. And then when Mera saves Arthur and his dad from the big tidal wave that Orm makes, she introduces herself to him, and it's just very weird and awkward, and I did not like it. And I know that this is like a remnant of before Joss Whedon took over the Justice League rewrites and filmed that scene where the two of them met in Atlantis. So it was a little bit weird there for me, and why I kept thinking that this was taking place before Justice League. And I know a lot of people were telling me that's not right, and I understand now because someone explained to me after watching this movie that this scene and all of the production on this started taking place before Joss Whedon started rewriting parts of Justice League. So that is all part of Zack Snyder. And not just their relationship, because their relationship feels very weird to me. It's also a couple other scenes. There is one scene that we see and a flashback that you also see a little very small clip of in the one of the trailers, and it's like a teenage young adult Arthur, and oh boy, they did some really weird superhero push-ins on him, and his acting was so bad. I wish they could have gotten somebody better. Even if he did not look like Jason Momoa as much as this kid did, wow, he was so bad. In every other part of that scene, he was okay, but in this scene where they got super close to him, it just felt very weird, and his face was like just doing some of this weird stuff. Did not like it. And then there's an origin scene for Black Manta towards the beginning, kind of how he becomes Black Manta, and it was just very cringy to me. And what really sucks is the fact that the screening that I went to, they had the actor, I'm not going to pronounce his name because I don't want to mess it up, but here's a picture of him at the screening that I went to. He came to our screening and introduced the movie, and it was really cool. We actually got some cool merch that I don't have with me. It was a cool Swall water bottle that's this really pretty blue and has the Aquaman logo on it, and a comic book, but it just, he's such a great guy. He was really nice when he came and introduced the movie, but this one scene with this acting was not great at all, and it just, the acting in this did not really settle well with me. And on top of all of that, this story to me had a lot of pacing issues. It just felt very long and drawn out. It felt like they crammed maybe 3 or 4 different types of genres into this. They had a really random Pitbull cover of Toto thrown in there that made it feel like you're going into an 80s movie that then transitioned into this really random rom-com about halfway through, and I completely lost it. I just was so done by then. It's about halfway through the movie. It went in such a huge monumental shift from where they had started tonal-wise, and then it shifted into something totally different later on in the movie, and I was just like, there's too much here. I don't know where to look, what to think. I can't put, when I was talking to a friend about this after the movie, I could not put into words how I felt because I was so confused. There was just so many jumps in tone, and it just felt very long, and I was like, when is this going to be over? And it pulled, like, there was it was a really cool looking battle at the end, but it looked like it was trying to be Lord of the Rings. Like, it felt like an underwater Lord of the Rings. That last final battle at Mordor, yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I can finish, because this movie just makes me really sad, because I wanted it to be good. I really wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be what brought back some of the good parts of the DCEU. Not that I know a whole lot about it, but I wanted to see maybe a Flashpoint storyline if they ever get the Flash movie into production. I wanted to see more of them finding together, to see if they get a new Batman and a new Superman, since both Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck don't want to do their jobs anymore. I don't know, I was really hoping for the best. But we still get Shazam next year, and I'm excited for that. And I could go into all of the exposition along with the pacing stuff, but you know what? I think I've put you guys through enough of me stressing out and not knowing what to say about this movie, so I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I think, though, overall, even with the pacing issues and just how long it felt to me and the bad acting, the way it was shot, the way James Wan directed the cinematography and the effects shots, it really evened it out for me. So if I were to give this a number score, I would give it probably a 3 out of 5, but a rewatch score on this may be a TV for me. I probably would never watch this movie again. One of my friends told me to watch it on IMAX, and I was like, I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. It was 2.5 hours too long. Well, I would say it's about a half an hour too long. There was some exposition that they could have trimmed off. They could have combined all of Arthur's backstory into one small condensed thing at the beginning, like a 15 to 30 minute thing at the beginning, instead of spreading it out into random backstory flashbacks throughout the movie. It felt too weird to me, again, tonally different. Whenever they did these weird flashbacks, I just wish they kind of stuck it chunk at the front like you do with any normal origin story and kept on with the movie. They did this kind of cool mythology thing like they did with Wonder Woman, but it did not capture as much of the insane coolness that that movie did with the way they portrayed that backstory as they did in, yeah, like with Wonder Woman, it was really cool looking. This, it was kind of mediocre. But that backstory I'm fine with being somewhere in the middle, but all of Arthur's other stuff, because it felt stuck in at such weird points. But I think... Oh, I also have a note on here about King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, Sword in the Stone kind of thing. Not Knights of the Round Table necessarily, but King Arthur and Sword in the Stone. There was like a cool little analogy in there, but it kind of got lost. It was just thrown in there at the very, very end. So there's that. And I'm kind of just throwing it here at the very, very end. So let me know your guys' thoughts. I know I'm in the minority on Aquaman. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, truly do appreciate every single one of you for putting up with me getting really mad at this movie. Thank you guys. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking all things movies, TV shows, filmmaking, film history, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye!